Captain America lifting and wielding Thor's mighty hammer Mjolnir against Thanos in Avengers Endgame is perhaps one of the most iconic moments in the MCU to date. The landmark battle between Cap and Thanos is often cited as one of Steve Rogers' most incredible feats and definitive character-defining moments, but many have questioned a minor inconsistency regarding Cap's apparent worthiness to wield Mjolnir. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Cap, along with the other Avengers, attempt to lift Thor's hammer while at a party to celebrate the collapse of Hydra. In this scene, however, Cap is seemingly unable to lift the hammer, and many have wondered why exactly this is. Well, stick with us, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, as we explore not only some of the most common explanations, but our own personal theory as to what changed between Age of Ultron and Endgame. It's important to note that while multiple directors, producers, and Marvel executives have gone on record with their own explanations, some of them conflict with not only one another, but the established lore of the universe. For that reason, we will be covering their explanations, but we will be treating them as theories, and seeing there is a disagreement between their statements and the established MCU, we will not be taking them as definitive fact and canon. With that being said, these theories are just as valid as our own, and you are free to choose which you agree with the most, if any. The first explanation we'll be covering was given by the Russo brothers, and involved Cap seemingly faking his inability to lift the hammer out of respect for Thor. They state that Captain America could in fact lift the hammer, but given the party setting that they were in, as well as Thor's ego, he decided to simply remain humble and feign his inability to lift the hammer. While this seems like a plausible explanation and is often cited as a favorite by many, it is also important to note that they were not at the helm of this film. Joss Whedon was, and they are viewing this scene as outside participants giving their own explanations, much like you and me. So while this one seems to make sense, let's cover some more. Another explanation before we get into our own was provided by screenwriter Christopher Marcus, one of the minds behind Infinity War as well as Endgame. Marcus claims that Captain America was hiding the true fate of Tony Stark's parents, and specifically, he was protecting Bucky. This theory proposes that Cap's unwillingness to disclose the true nature of Howard and Maria Stark's deaths to Tony is what was keeping him from finally becoming worthy. And seeing as he discovered the truth behind their demise a year prior in The Winter Soldier, this also sounds like a plausible explanation. This, however, has a few flaws of its own, as the most common explanation revolves around Cap specifically protecting Bucky. As stated by Marcus, though there are variations of this theory, the most popular one in his desire to protect Bucky, he lies to Tony. But he doesn't find out Bucky was responsible until a year later in Captain America Civil War. And while it's still hypothetically possible that the explanation still revolves around him not telling Tony that Hydra was responsible for his parents' death, we believe that we have something better to offer. Our own personal theory is that Captain America's fluctuating state of worthiness in this moment was directly related to the present circumstances under which he was trying to lift the hammer. In this scene in Age of Ultron, the Avengers are at a party, they are having fun and joking around, and to test to see who could lift the hammer is simply a game amongst the Avengers. The environment is distinctly casual, and we believe that Mjolnir, in detecting worthiness, knew that there was no true need for Cap to wield the hammer. In this instance, Cap lifting the hammer would have been simply him showing off, and there's no actual necessity for Cap to be worthy of the hammer's mighty power. According to this theory, the situation simply didn't yield any danger, and there was no need for Cap to lift the hammer, as he was simply attempting to do so as a game. Mjolnir is an incredibly powerful warhammer that was forged by the express purpose of defending the Nine Realms and protecting the innocent, and it chooses its wielders based on their willingness to take charge into battle in order to protect those oppressed, even at the cost of one's own life. Mjolnir simply was not constructed to be a party trick. In Avengers Endgame, however, the fate of the Earth is at stake. Thanos has invaded and incapacitated Iron Man and is on the verge of killing Thor. Captain America's premier character trait is his willingness to fight and his desire to stand up for what's right. And while these traits weren't front and center during the party in Age of Ultron, they most certainly were in this moment. Under these new circumstances, he is lifting the hammer to save his friends and protect the innocent inhabitants of Earth from Thanos' conquest. And while Mjolnir is not outright sentient, we believe it was able to detect Cap's mental state at this moment. In this moment, Mjolnir was needed to serve its purpose, to fight for the defense of the Nine Realms and the inhabitants of Earth. and it chose a wielder with the willpower and desire to take that charge into war by whatever means necessary. With battle being waged all around them, Mjolnir knows that now, Cap isn't lifting the hammer to show off, nor is he lifting it as a part of a game for a fun time. Cap is lifting the hammer in a moment of raw desperation to defend the innocent and fend off a tyrannical intergalactic warlord bent on utter domination and universal destruction. This is why we believe in this moment in Avengers Endgame, Captain America Steve Rogers was worthy of lifting Mjolnir when he was not in Avengers Age of Ultron. But again, we would love to hear what you think. In my opinion, these are all three very valid reasons why Captain America was unable to lift Mjolnir in Age of Ultron. But we would love to hear which one is your favorite. For the longest time, I loved the explanation that Captain America not disclosing the true fate of Tony Stark's parents was the reason that he was unable to lift and wield Mjolnir. But again, we just wanted to offer one of our own explanations to this scene. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching the channel, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I hope you have a great day.